Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. Celtics, winners of 7 straight now, 126, 122 over the Thunder. I knew this one was going to be a little bit of a trap game, Josue.
You called it. Yeah, that's true.
Celtics go down 15 midway through this game. They trailed pretty much from the midway point in the second. Actually, early in the second until late. They tie the game at, I believe, 112, 115, 115. They go back and forth a couple different times from there. And who's at the center of it all? Marcus Smart.
Yep.
Al Horford made that nice up fake, almost a travel, but got it to him, and Smart hit a go-ahead 20-footer, and then got a three-pointer to go, found Derek White on an assist for a go-ahead 3, and then iced the game to go-ahead 5 with a tough lefty layup spinning past Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had 35 himself in this one. Smart, 22, 8 assists, 8 of 12 shooting. Seems to be getting better every game, Josue Pavone.
Especially when it comes to finishing at the rim. I can't say enough about that. I know it's still 1 month into the season, but it's the improvement he's done in just that aspect, and obviously being a point guard, he's improved in that and finding his teammates and everything, but how he's so comfortable in the teeth of the defense, I think speaks volumes as to how great this offense can be. Just because when he's leading it, he's able to find the guys, whether it's Tatum or Brown, but he's also drawing double teams and finishing on his own. That's exactly what he did throughout that fourth quarter. I mean, the stops were there. Obviously, we know that's what Marcus does, but for him to be whether it's an assist or scoring 9 of the Celtics' last 12 points, minus that free throw from Tatum at the end. I mean, that's huge. That's clutch. That's exactly what you expect from your point guard, especially someone like Marcus Smart who's been in this league for so long.
And they trust him at this point. I don't know if that was always the case going back a couple years here in terms of his point guard play. Certainly he's talked about that with the organization. But players, too, you hear Jaylen Brown touting his passing, and teammates have trusted him to have the ball in his hands in a crunch time situation.
Right.
That says a lot. And, last year it was Tatum and Brown with the ball in their hands in those circumstances. They'd get doubled. They'd have to get off the ball, and you end up with Smart in kind of a catch-and-shoot situation. He's in that spot a couple of times tonight, but the other times where he's not, he's getting downhill and passing out of those post situations, as you say. And his aggressiveness to take those shots makes guys cover him, and he talked about that after the game, right?
And the assists are just stacking up. Yeah, he talked about that. He talked about how opposing defense is obviously going to spend most of their time trying to limit Tatum and Brown, but that opens things up for Marcus, right? And that's what Marcus talked about, and obviously gaining that trust. Another night, 10-plus assists. He's just becoming better and better, I think. And I think going into the season, we knew that there was still another notch, and he's certainly hitting that right now. But, man, the way he put it all together in this fourth quarter, and again, yeah, like you said, the trust that he's gaining from his teammates, and especially in those clutch situations, I mean, I just think it shows a whole lot of character.
He moves over 40% from the field for the season. He's close to 50% this month, over 8 assists per game. He's really rounding it out statistically in ways we haven't seen before. And this is why I always said during those days, it was like, do you trade him? Do you not? He was kind of at the centerpiece of the roster construction. You wondered, does he have another level he can take it to? And moving to this position that he always wanted to has allowed him to do that. But defensively, this team right now, another up and down night. Now, they pile up the stops that they needed to in the fourth quarter there. Joe Mazzulla gave the Celtics credit for attacking Giddey more aggressively and says that the players themselves came up with that approach. They forced a ton of turnovers, like 7 in the first 6 minutes of that fourth quarter. What do you see differently from the Celtics? Because it was pretty rough first 3 quarters defensively.
I think they just took it up a notch, honestly, Bobby. I think it was almost muscle memory in terms of them trying to get those stops. Again, we're going to keep talking about, can this team revert to the defensive team that they were last year? Some people think it's possible. Some people say maybe not quite as sharp defensively, but somewhere around those lines. If that's the case, then we got a championship team. And I think this is one of those games where we're reminded that if you're not that defensive-minded team in the fourth quarter, any team, or maybe I shouldn't say any team, because this Oklahoma City Thunder team, the record just doesn't reflect what kind of offensive weapons they have. And we saw that in the big stretch throughout the first 3 quarters. And I think the way the Celtics are able to buckle down defensively, it shows that there's a thin margin of error that you have to when you're coming from behind, right? I mean, 8-0 run from the Thunder. They were up comfortably by double digits, but the Celtics little by little chipped away at it. And I think honestly, it was just the aggressiveness that they were on defense and turning those turnovers into buckets and turning those defensive stops into momentum shifting plays that Marcus Smart had a whole lot to do with.
Pretty impressive stuff. Great outlet passes from him late.
Pritchard too. We can't sleep on Payne. Most of it happened in the third. It did carry over into the fourth, but yeah, Payne really got things going with that second unit.
Yeah, I can't imagine that going any better. But outlet passes from Smart. Overall, point guard playing this one pretty strong. White had a rough stretch, missing shots in transition, and then he hits the pivotal three, the go-ahead three from Smart. So another good night for White off the bench. Pritchard filling in comfortably for Malcolm Brogdon, and then Smart cementing himself as the point guard on this team once again this year. Celtics winners of 7 straight as they head out on the road now. It's going to be Atlanta, New Orleans, Chicago, 3 moderately tough tests ahead, and they've seen some good teams so far and had some good battles here. So stay tuned for that. Joe Sway will be out in New Orleans and Chicago, so follow along with him on the road. CLNS Media, Celtics All Access. We're brought to you by Com. Big reason we're able to get out on the road. Com.com/Garden. 40% off a premium subscription. Big help to the network. Support Com. Great app to have too. Sleep sounds, meditation, yoga, the calm of the day. Pretty much something to calm you down at every part of the day. Go check them out. As well as Athletic Greens. athleticgreens.com/garden. Gets you 5 free travel packs, vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and more. As well as a year's supply of vitamin D when you go to athleticgreens.com/garden. From the Garden, Josue Pavone, Bobby Manning, Celtics winners over the Thunder. We'll see you in our next video.